is up, chat? It's time. It's Underpeel podcast, episode 2. Episode 2 of the podcast, and we have games to talk about. We just finished the registered teams kickoff tournament, and tomorrow we're going to start the draft teams kickoff tournament. It's an exciting time for season 4 of the Underpeel. And today on the podcast, I'm joined by my co-host, Zahn. Say hello, Zahn.
Up, chat.
What's up, chat? What's up? And we are also joined by super sub Dyer, who participated along with Zahn in the top 8 of the registered teams tournament, and captain of the Serpent Strikers, Dyer, to chat with us on the podcast today. Welcome, Dyer.
Yep.
All right, so we are going to be hopping in to discussing. We're going to go over every game from the registered team kickoff event. All right, we're going to talk about it all. We're going to cover it. But first, thanks to everyone who's been Prime subscribing and subbing to the Twitch channel. I've been told we've made $85 from the Twitch channel so far, which is pretty pog. So thank you to everyone who's done that. We appreciate you all. Also, shout out to everyone who's done some donations. I don't know why Streamlabs doesn't tell me who subs, so I can't thank you individually. But shout outs Bubblegum Frog, KR, Swift Potato Ninja, who I'm assuming is Potato the Chinese, Lane, Not Pin Flash, Just Ghost, Jude, Sierra, and Just Tired have all donated to the channel. Appreciate you all. Oh yeah, and Kextress, thanks for the follow. Oh, I can see things now. I'm seeing more stuff now, chat. It's crazy. But appreciate you all. Anything you donate or sub to the Underpeel channel helps a lot of making sure that we can get cool graphics and stuff and do the high quality production for everybody. So, Zahn, take us away. Where do you want to start with the registered? Are we working bottom to top? Or are we going grand finals down?
Oh, you got to end with the grand finals. You can't just do the hypest match first.
I don't know. I would say that was not the hypest match of the tournament.
Shut up. Nope, shut up.
All right, so what was the first matchup, Zahn?
All right, first matchup that was done was my team, Mini Val's team, versus the Xingtian Tigers that ended 13-3. This is
So taking a look at this, this is a bad omen for my predictions from last week on the podcast, where I predicted the Tigers to be my favorite to win the kickoff event, and they kind of got stomped right out the gate, 13-3. But
yeah,
it looks.
we were.
You were in the game. Go ahead and tell us what happened.
My team was quite annoyed that you said that the Tigers were gonna win. Mm-hmm. So we kind of just brought our A game just right off the bat. Being fully honest, we also expected it to be harder, and then it just wasn't. It
was potentially just an off game for them, and you all were.
I
can see everyone on the team except Minimoff was shooting this game.
I think it was
Sierra
an off game
was 20-8, just Tyre was 20-7, you were 15-8. Like, it's hard to win a Valorant match when there are 2 people on the enemy team with over 200 average damage around, and another the third best player is doing 170. Like, they're legit just averaging like 4 kills every round. Like, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, we just shut them down. They couldn't shoot back, unfortunately. I think it was just an off game, considering they did pretty well in their next couple of games that they played, but that's getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, Minimoff says they wanted to make you all wanted to make a statement against a strong team. Makes sense. All right, so that covers
wrong.
That covers that. Next up, another 13-3 I can see. Including another team that made the top 4 along with Mini's Val team, was Mouse House starting off the tournament strong with a 13-3 win over Zoink Squad. And this is an impressive win for Mouse House. I didn't bring this. I did this last week right after the tournament, but I went through and actually looked. I was like analyzing like how good of wins teams got, right? Like I didn't value it, right? If like the only win you got was against one of the teams who didn't beat anybody, right? So I was trying to see like, did you beat like good teams? Did you beat bad teams? Like that sort of thing. And this is a really good win for Mouse House here, especially 13-3, because Zoink Squad was the team that went 2-1 but missed out on top 8 because of the rock, paper, scissors. But yeah, Cade, match MVP of this game, 215 ADR on the Sova in this game. We see him on his main agent, he plays a lot as Gecko, but he played Sova here. Looks like they played Ascent, and it was a stomp for Mouse House.
Yeah, looking at the results and the stats of this game, this is surprising. I was really hoping that the Zoink Squad would do better.
I mean, they did good in the tournament. They just ended up losing this game pretty heavily. But like,
we'll see. Brought it personal, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like I said, when we went over these teams last week, Mouse House like has the chance, and I mean, they showed it in the tournament. They made top 4 of just being a super explosive team. And we'll talk more in depth about Mouse House when we get to like the top 8, because we watched those games. But yeah, I mean, good win from Mouse House in the first round. All right, next game is Nibs and Knobs versus Blueberry Maxers. Nibs and Knobs won pretty handily, 13-6 versus BMX here.
So I got some information from the streets.
Okay, what's the street saying?
Violet may have sent me a screenshot of a folder containing like 600 lineups or some shit. It was a lot of lineups. And I made fun of him for losing this game because, come on, man.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like the lineups help much. But I mean, let's see, what map was this? It looks like this was an Icebox game. Interesting enough, Nibs and Knobs played the G2 comp. They played Gecko and Harbor. Double controller from Nibs and Knobs on Icebox. Gecko, Viper, Harbor, Sova, Jet, winning 13-6 on Icebox, which was a map I think a lot of teams were banning.
Yeah, it seems like they just took a lot of rounds on defense. Well, no, on attack. Yeah, on attack. They just took a lot of rounds early on in attack and just won all 4 of their defense rounds. Jeez.
Yeah, just snowballed.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we're going to see Fruit Ninjas versus Shaq, Kobe, and crew in the first round. Fruit Ninja, both of these teams ended up making top 8. So Shaq, Kobe, and crew were able to get some wins after this. But Fruit Ninjas able to win this initial matchup in round 1. 13-8 on a set. The Sentinel player Rusty leading the way for Fruit Ninja.
203 ADR on KJ with 324 ACS is wild.
Yeah, I can see on the tracker, just looking at the tracker, 11 headshot percentage, and that's because Rusty uses like the Odin and stuff. I remember from watching him on, I think we watched him on Ascent again on stream at some point, and he was just like Odin spamming everybody. I mean, it seems like Ascent is a pretty strong map for Fruit Ninjas, especially if they're able to take down like another top 8 team like SKC.
Yeah, they went 9-3 on defense. So it seems like either, from what I'm guessing, the retakes seem pretty solid, considering that 5
of
those
a lot of defuses,
defuses, yeah. That's crazy.
I know that
7 first kills.
I know that Fruit Ninjas have like a core, like I think they've been playing together for a while. Like it's a bunch of people who have been like on different teams and stuff together, so it makes sense that they're a little more coordinated coming out of the gate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, and we're going to our next matchup of Weebs and Dweebs taking a 13-10 victory over Micro Celebrities. Baby Itachi coming out on top on the fade. This was on Lotus, winning 13-10 against the niche micro celebrities. And playing the standard, I mean, I was about to say they were playing the standard comp, but they actually have double initiator with Fade and Gecko coming out for Weebs and Dweebs here.
Yeah, I would say that for micro celebs having a sub in, this is this is closer than I thought it would be. That 10-13. And also Satoshi just popped off and probably made that difference up. Really.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, not this game necessarily as much, but there's a couple, and we'll see in a second, where like we're living in one timeline, right? But there's so many other timelines we could be living in, where like one team that goes like 0-3 could have maybe been 2-1. They win their.
I would like to point out,
yeah,
despite Golden being the bottom of his teams, like as far as ACS goes, he has 5 first kills.
Yeah, that's kind of insane that he just like. I mean, we can see why. This is why, right? We can see Weebs and Dweebs won this matchup. They have 15 of the 23 first bloods, right? Like they just won that first kill matchup. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like they were just winning fights over and over again. Able to shut down Olam a little bit, but I see he was 1-4 in those first duels, which is unusual to see from Olam.
Yeah.
All right, going to our next game. This was actually a game we saw on stream of our first stream game, the round 1 streamed game of Tinfoil Rex beating Kitten Shelter and their former squad mate Cesora 13-8 on Ascent.
I'd like to just start off. Tinfoil Rex plays so well together. Their teamwork is so good. Like,
yeah.
Like, obviously, they're a team from previous season and they won it, so obviously they're going to have a good teamwork, but it's just like, it's matches like this really just put into perspective how well that time put in is.
Yeah. Having that chemistry together really helped, it seemed. And it was interesting. I mean, just thinking back to observing and casting this game was so slow. Like,
yeah, insane.
Like, it was just like, oh my god, like, like it was like 10 seconds every round for the play, because they, like, Kitten Shelter, they started on attack and they just like, you could tell they were trying to hunt for fights, but were so slow about rotating and trying to catch them, which I felt like was off of, like, I feel like when you have this style of team with the two giga carry fraggers, right? You almost want to be going fast. Like, you don't want to overcomplicate it for your lower elo support player.
It's hard to go in fast like that, especially this really only applies to teams like TRX that are really well in, like, generally higher elo baseline. You can't just rush a site, especially with both your high elo players being on duelists, if your lower elo players can't give the proper backup. Because I can easily see if them trying, like, for example, a site Ascent, I can easily see Malcro being able to stop both Cesora and Delete if he plays it correctly.
Yeah.
And without proper backup. And so it's really hard to you can't just hit a site, especially against TRX's team, which has a lot of stall util.
All right, and moving on to our next matchup. This was one of the 2 overtime games that happened in round 1. Not All Yoru winning 14-12 on Ascent against Code Basic. Both teams ended 1-2, so these teams are basically evenly matched. But Super Sub Zlab managed to kind of come in and pull out the victory for Not All Yoru, it looks like.
Slap had a 128 damage delta. That is crazy.
Yeah, 250 ADR basically is wild. I mean, Jesus. Like, you can see that both of these teams, like, are basically kind of like your classic Valorant roster of, like, when you're looking on tracker of especially Code Basic, it's literally Immortal 1, Diamond 3, Plat 3, Gold 1. You know, like, it's literally boom, 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 every rank 1 down, right? And this was just, it looks kind of like it was like both of the immortal players for the teams canceled each other out, right? Of like Zlab was 35 and 14, but Kryak was 34 and 50, right? Both were fragging. Kryak was 6 and 0 on first duels. Both Kryak and Zlab had 5 multi-kills, so they both won 5 rounds for their teams, basically. And it just kind of came down to the mid-elo players. At the end of the day, it looks like. And it looks like that Street was able to get more value than Barcode in this one. It looks like Street was able to win 3 multi-kills on the Omen. So the role swap working out well for Street so far. So they were able to pull out their victory against Code Basic in overtime. Which is pretty impressive for the Not All Yoru squad with a sub player for the Swiss stage.
If we ever give out a super sub award, Slap is probably a good candidate for that, especially with his performance all the games that he played in so far.
All right, next up we have Frog.gif. My low-key, as I was going through and analyzing the games and stuff, I low-key kind of think Frog.gif, even though they didn't win, were kind of the best team in the tournament. Not gonna lie. But Frog.gif...
That's crazy.
Frog.gif taking the win 13-9 against Sewer Cats here, despite Lydia being the match MVP.
Frog team MVPing on the Sage is crazy on Split. It seemed like it mostly just came down to whose mid-elo players could perform better.
Yeah, again, it was Lydia performed, right? But my thing about Frog.gif is they have the same kind of tinfoil Rex buff, right? If they played a full season together, they actually have kept one more core member than tinfoil Rex did. And I think they just play off of each other so well. They were able to take the difference here, 13-9 on Split. And I just love that they play different comps. And I think that's so important in the Underpeel of no one's a professional team who's able to really execute the optimal game plan, right, for each map. So having a kind of unique comp and different play style that you're comfortable with, I think works really well. For example, the fact that they're on Split, and Split was one of their home ground maps in the Season 3 playoffs, where they made it all the way to 3rd place, where they would play Sage. I mean, their comp is Sage, Neon, Cypher, Omen, Gecko. That's a comp you never are gonna see outside of the Underpeel, but they make it work.
Yep, you will never that's a comp that I was seeing comp sometimes.
I feel like you don't even see that in ranked though, because they have one of each role, but it's a real comp, but yeah, you're not gonna be seeing Neon, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Frog.gif, yeah, good first win against Sewer Cats there. Go ahead.
Heading into next game, we got Optimistic versus Evil Buffoons, who went 14-12 against them.
Yeah, this is one of the pivot points, right, that I was talking about earlier of we're living in different timelines out here. And as Optimistic, right, end up going 3-0 in the Swiss stage and running the table in Swiss, but I actually watched a VOD of this game and they were down 8-4. They were down 10-4 at one point, and they clawed all the way back to win in overtime on the on the attack. So a huge comeback for them. They could have just crumbled, right? They could have crumbled as they were going down the as they went down 10-4, and if they just kind of give up, they probably end up going not performing as well in the other rounds. But they were managed to make this comeback, right? And I think that momentum is what kind of carried them to 3 straight wins.
Yeah, I can definitely see how they came back. They had 18 collective first kills. That's crazy.
Yeah. Zendikar, it's because Wetbread was a sub for Evil Buffoons, and so his actual team is Controlled Chaos. Is why his logo is showing up like that. And yeah, we'll probably we'll be talking about him, I think, when we cover the draft tournament coming up.
Next week.
Well, tomorrow.
Oh, I was talking about the podcast, but yeah, tomorrow.
This guy's not even concerned about the actual tournament. He's just like, when's the next podcast episode? But I also wanted to talk about from the side of Evil Buffoons, right? Of like, they almost beat the team that went 3-0, right? Like one of the top 2 teams coming out of Swiss stage. They were 2 rounds away from beating them. Like if they close that map out like 13-6 instead of like if they get a kind of dominant win, how different is their Swiss stage, you know, as they like what is part of the reason like why they ended up going 0-3 because they kind of fell apart in the second half, and like letting the comeback happen might have shut them down a little bit.
Yeah, from what it seems, I haven't watched the VOD, but from what it seems, it just often Myths like probably just had better coordination near especially in overtime. Considering that Wetbread went this hard, it kind of just seemed like they weren't getting traded, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I think in the VOD, what it was is that Wetbread was like going crazy in the first half and then like slowed down in the second. Is kind of really what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Holy, we got 2 primes from Chase 591. Thanks for the prime, and TJW with the prime subscriptions. Love you too. Thanks, Booze. All right, let's head on to round. We'll head on to round 2 now. So this is where we kind of see some of the teams secure their spots in top 8, and this is where we see some of the more like interesting matchups, right? Where this was the round that told me who was good and who needs some room for improvement, right? So our first matchup was Nibs and Knobs, and this is one of the reasons why I rated Nibs and Knobs pretty highly when I was going through the teams and doing my tier rankings of Nibs and Knobs. Take out Fruit Ninjas in the second round of Swiss. They take them out 13-4 in the second round. So Fruit Ninja ended up being top 4, right? So they're a good team. And Nibs and Knobs demolished them here on Ascent in the second round of Swiss.
Yeah, it just seems like it looks like they just read them hard like a book.
Yeah,
especially with Booker going 19-5.
Yeah, I mean Booker on the Sentinel is probably one of the people I would say is like a top Sentinel in the Underpeel. Like he was strong in season 3, and again we're just seeing that the returning teams from last season, right, are carrying over that like chemistry buff and are dominating, right? Like they just demolished Fruit Ninja, who are one of the better teams in the whole that coming out of this tournament, and they just like blew them out.
Yeah, coordination can make any team better, and it's definitely apparent in like TRX and Nibs and Knobs
for sure. All right, heading on to our next, but first, Frame Data with the Prime sub. Oh my God, thanks Frame Data for subbing to the Underpeel Twitch channel as a Prime subscriber. Appreciate you, boo boo. All right, next up, we have Shaq, Kobe, and crew, who lost their first round matchup, but they bounced back here in the second round, handily beating Evil Buffoons 13-6 here. And this is where we see the dominant power, right, of this hybrid kind of roster where you min-max and you get a Poland on your team and you get a Dasu on your team. As we can see, Poland went 31-11. Dasu went 29-9. Both of them had plus over 250 average damage around. Poland was 9-1 in first kills. Dasu was 5-1 in first kills. So between the two of them, this was only a 19-round game, and the two of them won the first duel 14 out of the 19 rounds. Like, that's just like wild.
Evil Buffoons brought them to Icebox. That's crazy to me.
It might have been. It might have been. I think. It might have been what. That might have been where SKC was wanting to go. Is like I believe I watched a VOD of their game, and I can't remember if it was this game or if it was their third round matchup. But they played Icebox, and it seems like it fits the style of how they want to play really well. Of it kind of lets Poland and Dasu just go off.
It makes perfect sense on if you are attacking as Shaq and crew. It takes the enemies forever to be able to rotate, and on defense, you can just play mid and immediately be at any side that you see them. Like, it's like the perfect map for them. There's a few maps that I would never bring them to, and that is one of them. Yeah. 30
Next up, we have Zoink Squad versus Weebs and Dweebs. Zoink Squad getting their first victory in the Swiss stage here, winning 13-6 against Team Wad. Hoy, one of the players I was kind of... Sorry. When I was studying this this Zoink Squad team, I was like, this team might have some of the best, like, high-quality support players in the whole league. But I am interested to see, like, how they're relying on Hoy as a gold 3 duelist, right? Like, is he going to be able to match up against, for example, a Zeno, who is Diamond 3 pushing Ascendant level, right? And in this one, Hoy definitely got the best of them. Hoy coming out of this one with 302 ACS, 6 and 5 in the first duels. I mean, 11 first duels. He's doing his job out here. 200 ADR.
I'm about to call out Hoy. He better get out of fucking gold, man. He should not be gold. Get out of gold. Like, seriously, you can't be dropping these kind of numbers in an Underpeel match against people like Bike and Itachi and being gold.
Yeah, I mean, he was fragging out. But Zoinked, right? Getting their first win. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about them when we get to their second win in the third round. All right, next up, Zon, you can tell us about this one. Your Mini Moss Valorant team winning 13-11 on Sunset versus Not All Yoru.
I will be completely honest. The Yoru threw off our game plans a bit. We just weren't ready to face him, simply. With the way we're playing Sunset, Yoru just being able to just say no threw off our match. We still managed to bring it back a lot. Like, I think the round that this like signifies that a lot is when they fake Yoru ulted onto B, while the rest of the enemy team just walked on A while we were distracted with the ult.
Oh yeah, like, we did. We watched this on stream, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, you did. You get to sat there and watch all of us just sit on B for no reason.
That's right. That was a crazy play. Shout out to Not All Yoru. That was a great fake. That was Zendikar was in my ear going like, oh my god. Like, when you make the producer like talk like mid game, like you did something right. Like, so that was an impressive showing from Not All Yoru. I think they were kind of, especially with how closely they played you all here and MVT, obviously making it to the grand finals. Like, Not All Yoru could be a team I could see making a top 8 in the future.
Yeah, they played really well. If they can get their team going and just play those matches out, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
All right, next up, Code Basic getting their first win against Micro Celebrities. Micro Celebrities had a tough showing in the kickoff event here. Dude,
Yeah.
they played Icebox. Another team running the double controller comp. Code Basic ran Harbor, Jet, Sova, Viper, and Chamber on Icebox. And Cryek had 431 ACS, was 30, 14, and 8. And had 300 average damage around.
He had 100% cast, man. How do you even do that?
My guy was just balling out, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like,
even
good
despite
win.
those numbers, Olin was 8-4 when it comes to first duels.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things I was wondering with this micro celebrities team is like, how often is it gonna be the case that like Olam is fragging out, Olam's getting first kills, and then they just lose man advantage once Olam gets traded out or goes down. I mean, it's like a team like Code Basic are currently perfectly set up to counter that with their high elo player, Cryek, their hard carry Immortal 3 peak. Cryek, like, being, like, going to be one of the last alive a lot of the times, right? So, like, he's able to get those multi-kills to, like, win out clutch rounds. Oh, yeah, I'm getting a report from the streets live. Cade, our reporter Cade, in the streets. There's apparently live beef going on. As we transition to our next matchup, we'll be getting you that beef report ASAP, chat. Scrimmers can't show up on time? Oh no. This is so sad. This is so sad. Teams not showing up for scrims? What is it? Was it Interdus's team? I heard they do that. I'm about to start striking people down. They got the week wrong? Oh no.
Oh no.
That's unlucky.
How do you do that?
I'm actually gonna go hot just to play back that previous thing you guys were talking about. It baffled me, you know. It baffled me.
Oh yeah, the fake Zendikar Phantom.
Just look at the map.
Like, it's it's so beautiful. The Euro fake just pulls all of Minnie's Val team. No discipline in Minnie's Val's team. They all just rotate. Look at Zon.
There were so many missed
TP. We're all the way over. We're on, baby.
They're all on the site.
We won the round anyways, so
I mean, it didn't matter, but I just wanted to go hot for that.
Nah, our comms that round were just not. It was not good.
All right, so next up we have, and this is the game, chat, of why I low-key think that Frog.gif might be the best team coming out of this first tournament. As we see, Frog.gif taking down Tinfoil Rex 13-7 on split with their, like I was talking about earlier, right? With that unique split comp, they're really strong on that map. And they pretty handily beat the team that ends up winning the tournament 13-7.
If you want a comp that beats double controller, just copy Frog.gifs.
Oh, you guys get?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Tinfoil Rex double controller, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if it's like, it's just the ability of Frogfurger to get so much value on non-duelist roles as their immortal player, I think is so valuable. And it lets Sanis, Sanis is low-key been on the climb. I think when he joined in season 3, he was like plat, I'm pretty sure. And he's Ascendant 2 now. Like, the guy is giga grinding out here. And so it like lets you have a like really good duelist on a unique duelist too, right? Of like the Neon, I think throws a lot of teams off. But then Frogfurger's also just like fragging out of his mind. More stupid deaths. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Sanis has been playing extremely well lately, so I'm not surprised that they managed to get that really clean win on the TRX, 13-7.
A pretty convincing one, let's see. All right, and going on to our next team, looks like in round 2, both of the kind of min-maxed rosters, Kit and Shelter, were able to win out 13-9 on bind against BMX. We see Delete here. Had a great game. 25-17, 200 ADR, 5-2 in the first duels. Sazora, 24-16, 230 ADR. Got both of the hard carry. But shout out actually to Potato here. Silver 3 Cypher player. She ended up going 13-14. Like that might not sound like an impressive stat line, but for like a silver player playing against a Diamond 2 average team, like that's insanely good.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Yeah,
low-key, no credit to Delete and Sazora now. Potato, Summer won that game for them. No cap.
Potato was 5-2 against Gage on the race.
So true.
That's actually really important. And 5-3 against Viper. Those are actually 2 really important players to be good against.
Mm-hmm. But Kitten Shelter managing to get the win. It was their only win of the day. Well, go back. We'll talk more about their second matchup here in a little bit. But they got a win against BMX there.
Yeah.
Next up was the Detroit Tigers. They were able to bounce back in the second round. They played bind against the Sewer Cats and Lydia, and able to take that in a 13-10 victory. So a close game, but it actually looks like they made a run. They were actually down 9. Oh, the 9-3 curse struck here, Zon.
It strikes again. No.
The 9-3 curse. It looks like that Sewer Cats were up 9-3 after defense on bind, and they only won one more round. They only won the bonus round against the Tigers, and the Tigers defense just completely obliterated them. They won, let's see, they won 8 rounds in a row to win the game.
Yeah, looking at the rounds, it just seems like the second half, the Tigers just brought the kills. Like, simply, they had almost every single team member had single-digit kills going into the second half, and then almost all of them doubled it. Yeah, every single one of them managed to double their kills by the time the game ended.
They were just frying on defense. Yeah. Looks like they were playing. They're playing the 100 Thieves bind comp too, which is looking like a really strong bind comp in pro play.
Yeah, Gecko's really good. Fade's really good. The Fade Raise Nade combo is really good.
Now, you know what's the real combos on is the C's Brim ult combo. Have you seen those? Where, like, for example, like you press your shower, like you do like you like take showers control fast, but like you have a C's lineup for them trying to run out of showers, and you Brim ult it. Like, it's
that's crazy. Yeah. I've only ever seen it once, but it was scary.
but my picks, the Tigers, able to get a win, and I believe in them in the upcoming Masters tournament for sure. They're gonna win out, I believe. All right, and our final matchup of the round 2 of Swiss was Optimistic winning 13-9 against Mouse House. And again, Optimistic, right? They had to go to OT to beat Evil Buffoons, who ended up being one of only 2 teams to have 0 wins by the end of Swiss. But after that point, they get 2 super impressive wins to me as they win here against, and it looks like they had another comeback here again they were down 5-0 to start Sunset here, but they managed to come back and win 13-9 against Mouse House, a top 4 team at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, they managed to win 7 rounds in a row in the end to block out
on
this victory for them.
Attack Sunset, only dropping the bonus, like an insane attack Sunset.
The second half demons, I guess.
Yeah, apparently that's the optimistic playbook. Alrighty, so we're going into the final round of Swiss here. Gonna cover some of the, gonna cover the matchups, the games. I'm opening the tracker so I can give the chat some more specific data when we talk about these. I mean, the first one is just sad to talk about though. Blueberry Maxers, BMX, completing the first clean game, perfect game in the Underpeel Season 4, 13-0ing micro celebrities on Vine. I mean, I think at this point, probably what's happening is just the morale is giga low on the end of micro celebrities. They're playing with a sub, so the sub's probably feeling pretty down about like the performance, and so BMX just able to take advantage of that. I think Gage ends with the highest ACS of any game, going 523 ACS. And remember, chat, this is because this is only a 13-round game. Gage had 23 kills. So Gage almost had a 2 kill per round APR and had 332 average damage in this game. This Gage guy was in, like, just had the game of his life and took BMX to win 13-0 over the micro celebrities.
I would like to mention micro celebrities are already 2-0 going 0-2 going into this, so they probably didn't try hard this match, or at least
I mean, the thing is, though, is you can say that like BMX were 0-2, right? That's the thing about Swiss, right? Is you're going against the teams that are supposedly like your equivalent, right? So like
that's true.
0-2, like that's why this result was so surprising to me. I think it was just like a kind of a morale like a tilt thing of like Blueberry Maxers were able to get their kind of recover after losing the first 2 rounds of Swiss and able to secure maybe like a all important Underpeel point. That's why you play these. You want to try your hardest even in the 3rd round game, right? That's another Underpeel point, even if you're 0-2, that you can earn for champions.
That is true.
And going on to the next game, another kind of blowout here. Not as bad as 13-0, but Shaq, Kobe, and crew able to win 13-4 against Not All Yoru. Never mind. I was saying that Gage, I think, had the best.
ACS.
Never mind. It was Poland had 559 ACS because in a 17-round game, he had 35 kills. He was 35-7. Had 371 ADR, 6 multi-kills, 7-1 in the first duels. So, sorry, Gage. I thought you had the game of the day, but no. The top 100 Radiant had to come and steal your thunder. But again, we see them on Icebox, so it seems like Shaq, Kobe, and crew won both of their Icebox matchups. So
it's like the best map for them.
Yeah, if I'm going against, I'm not floating Icebox. I'm not letting it through the pool. I don't think against SKC.
You don't bring him to Icebox, and you don't bring him to Bind. If you bring him to any other map, you're fine.
Oh man, this guy's spitting bars. But yeah, holy! I mean, shout out Dasu as well. 20-8. So the 2 superstars, and I'll say this, since this is their last win, we'll be talking probably more about Mouse House when we talk about the top 8 now matchup. But I really liked. I think SKC had a better game plan of how to play around their 2 hard carries than Kitten Shelter did heading into this first term. I don't think it's potentially the optimal way to play it, but I think it's a good strategy of like, okay, we're pairing up the 3 low elo players, you all just stick together, like you all are a group, right? At least on the defensive side, you all are a group, you all are just trying to stay alive as long as possible on the site you have. Poland and Dasu, we are grouping up and we're pushing something, we're going to fight something together to try and get that man advantage. And I thought that was a pretty good strategy for the squad to for this team to do with their unique roster construction.
Yeah, I hope SKC can go really far in these upcoming tournaments, because I do want to see how good their lower year players will get by the end. Because from what it's looking at, they managed, like on defense, they managed to stall out as long as they needed to. Just enough for Poland to get there and clean up everything.
Yeah. Alrighty, so on to the next matchup is Optimistic taking out the grand finalist Minis Val team, 13-6 on Lotus. This is a surprise, a reminder just to give Optimistic their flowers here. Optimistic came into this tournament as the lowest Pilo team. And their performance, along with Tinfoil Rex being the team that won the tournament, Tinfoil Rex are also one of the lower, like nowhere near as low as Optimistic were heading in. But both of those teams were like some of the lower Pilo teams heading into the tournaments, and they performed super well. So like heading into the draft team kickoff event, like I kind of feel like Pilo, it like doesn't really give us a good measure of how good a team can be.
Oh no, if it was just based off Pilo, then Poland's actually no, it would be Kitten Shelter would be number one, and then Tigers would be number 2 right now. But that's not what happened.
But I mean, impressive run through the Swiss stage, especially the fact, right, that in round 1 they were down 10-4. They didn't let that get them down. They clawed all the way back to win that first match, and they just ended up going on a run. And they beat 2 top 4 teams. Like they beat one of the second place team and the 4th place team in Swiss.
Yeah, this game was a bit embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you all got cooked.
It seems one of our biggest weaknesses is just
you won no rounds on what? You won no defensive rounds.
We won no defensive rounds.
Oh my god.
Hey.
It was 6-6 at the half? What? Okay, alright, we're moving on. This team's a fraud. They're frauds, this Minis. Alright, going on to the next one. This was the stream game. Fruit Ninja just absolutely crushed Code Basic on Ascent. I mean, it's unlucky that we saw the worst Kryak game when Kryak was insane, apparently, in the other 2 games. I think if Kryak is popping off like he was on the Harbor on Icebox, or what was the other map he played? I mean, but like he was going toe-to-toe with some of the highest value players in the league, and was just insane. But in this game, it was Rusty. This was where we saw the Odin coming out. 23-5 on the Killjoy for Fruit Ninjas.
So I like the Brent Princes. This is the 3rd round of matches, so I would expect some teams will start to get like winding down at least a bit. Yeah,
the fatigue starts to get to them.
I would like to think that played a factor into this, because these are unusually bad performances from the entirety of Code Basic. Like.
Yeah, I think Code Basic can be a pretty good.
Yeah. Like, Rusty popped off. Do not get me wrong. He popped off. He played really well. And so did Asta. But it just seemed like Code Basic just wasn't bringing their A game that game.
It really felt like casting and observing the game. It felt like it was pretty close at the beginning. And then once, like, Fruit Ninja won like 3 rounds in a row after kind of the initial pistol, like that first couple eco rounds, right? After a couple of like kind of crushing losses, it almost felt like Code Basic were like, all right, let's get this. Like, we're ready to pack it in, you know? Like, they almost were like, you know, like, it's late, like, if it's not going to be close, let's just get it over with fast,
like, put them out of their misery.
Yeah, so, next up, and again, this is why Frog.gif, I think they ended up winning. They were the other 3-0 team coming out of Swiss. ended up beating one of the other really strong returning teams, Nibs and Knobs. They won 13-9 on Breeze. Beating the Nibs and Knobs team. Oh, both teams running a Yoru here is interesting.
Yeah. Dungshot being able to get match MVP while on Viper on Breeze is crazy to me.
I mean, it just shows that they had a good they have a good game plan for Breeze of like they're not probably over rotating, so like the Viper's actually able to like not have to play retake simulator all game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They were 8-4 with all but one of their wins on defense being detonation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. Yeah.
I feel like I remember too in the playoffs them playing Breeze once or twice, and it felt like that of like they had a very solid game plan of like we're not they didn't over rotate, like they were very good at like just forcing teams to funnel into their setups and kind of demolishing them for it. And like this is the strength of this Frog.Gift team of like we've been talking about Frogfurger in the first 2 rounds, right, of popping off on the Sage. In this game, it's Dunkchai and Pixel are kind of the hard carries, right? And like that's that's insane that they like there's 5 different players on the roster. Like all 5 players are capable of being like the match MVP. And like that's not what you can see in a lot of the teams.
Yeah, it's a really good aspect to just having your team, have everyone be able to be the playmaker. It's really nice. I would assume to have that, since you don't have that pressure to just I have to perform well this match, like or play out of my mind every single match. You can at least just do your job.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next one. Zoink Squad, and so we'll talk a little bit about Zoink Squad for a little bit longer here. They get their second win, and they unfortunately missed out on top 8 because they lost the rock, paper, scissors tiebreaker to Tinfoil Rex after round 3. But they get their second win against a pretty competitive team in the Zhejiang Tigers. And Kobos popping off here, 25, 13, and 16 on the Omen. Carrying the team to a split victory. And we see the Deadlock coming out here for Zoink Squad.
They pulled out Deadlock?
They pulled out Deadlock. They won with Deadlock. Deadlock won. Just let that sink in for a little bit. But Zoink Squad, like I said, like their team, I feel like they're dangerous. I could see them being like a potentially, especially if like Hoy is having like a heater of a weekend, and like Hoy is like instead of being a gold 3 duelist, Hoy is playing like a ascendant 2 duelist. I could see this Zoink Squad like making to like a grand finals in one of the weekend tournaments coming up.
Well, weren't they they're pretty close to just being in the grand finals anyways. Like you said, if Hoy is able to get better, their team can easily be the top. I just can't believe they played Deadlock.
All right, and moving on, we see Tinfoil Rex. They only were able to win Ascent 13-11 against Weebs and Dweebs to get that crucial second win, and then end up winning the rock, paper, scissors. Malcro was the hard carry in this game, 22, 16, and 7. Basil Terp, shout out Basil Terp as well, 22, 19, and 8 on the Sova. I think Terp has swapped roles to play on this team to Recon Initiator, and he impressed me like all weekend with with his play on Sova, and it just felt like he got so many crucial trades.
Yeah, he definitely had to prep ready for the switch in, so he's been putting in the work for that. It just seemed like as a team, DRX just played together more, considering how everyone except for Stewart were all had like really high KDAs, high ADR. They were like collectively they had a lot of first kills. It just seems like they just played together more. which probably led them to victory in the end.
All right, and so we're moving on now to a triple OT game between Mouse House taking the victory over Kitten Shelter 16-14. Delete was the match MVP here, 47-17. I think that's the highest total we saw, but matched almost evenly, 33-19, coming out from the Viper of Seoul on Mouse House. And this bind map, I think we saw the Mouse House play at least 2 or 3 times, and I think they won it every time on bind.
I would hate to go into a triple OT on the third match of the day.
I remember we were sitting here scoreboard watching it, and we're just like, oh my god. I do remember Kitten Shelter kind of blew their chance to get into the playoffs here, as I believe they were up like 12-9, and they dropped 3 rounds in a row to and it looks like they were actually even up 11-7. Right? Like they were up 4 rounds, and they just kind of weren't able to get it over the finish line there. And so Mouse House able to advance and go on a run to the semifinals, whereas Kitten Shelter missed out on the top 8.
Yep.
And finally, last match of Swiss was Evil Buffoons versus Sewer Cats. Sewer Cats able to get their first win of the season. Lydia going 22-18-8 on the Clove. Looks like they played Sunset. Wet Pants was 33-14-4, and we'll see them as we go to the draft teams here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like really good crucial game for Sewer Cats to win, 13-11, getting an Underpeel point. And again, Evil Buffoons, like they ended up going 0-3, but they only 2 of their 3 losses they lost by 2 rounds. Like they were incredibly close games they were dropping.
Yeah, they probably just lost due to just not being able to win the clutches.
Yeah.
Like, it's that close.
Yeah, it comes down to those individual rounds, right? And so we won't spend too much time on the top 8 since we watched a lot of the top 8. It looks like, Zon, it looks like Optimistic, their kind of miracle run ended on the second day. Minnie's Val team came back on Lotus, stomped them 13-4. We watched this Mouse House versus SKC game on stream, where I was really impressed by Mouse House. Like their comms and their level of coordination in that game was very impressive. They were very aware of how to play against SKC's particular roster construction, right? The most interesting game it's looking like to me from the kind of top 8 games was Fruit Ninjas managing to take a 13-10 win over Nibs and Knobs on Sunset, it looks like. Booker was popping off there for the team, but NI 27-15 on the Rays. Able to carry Fruit Ninjas over the finish line to get into the top 4 against Nibs and Knobs.
Yeah, they played really well this match. Like, I was expecting Nibs and Knobs to win.
Yeah, I honestly was too, but that's showing that there's more strong teams kind of in the tournament than we maybe initially thought.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to start facing more teams because I didn't get to face Nibs and Knobs, so that was one of those teams that I really, really wanted to fight against.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the cool things about the Swiss format is that we're going to see so many more matchups than we did in previous seasons, right? If we're going to be able to get like consistent rivalries of teams like consistently both being 2-0, right, and facing off in the final round, right? Or like, you know, like I think it's just going to be really interesting to follow like all the little mini storylines between these different teams as they hash out. But let's talk about Tinfoil Rexes just for a second. Their championship run through this top 8, and I feel like the match MVP has to go to Doge We can pull up this first game as it's the only one I think we didn't see. No, we didn't see this 13-10. I mean, we watched the end of both of these games on stream, but Doge, like, I think dropped a 30 bomb in every game in top 8 on Saturday.
Yeah, he played out of his mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, this first game, with substitute code subbing in for Noodle Norse is crazy. 16-14 against Frog.gif, who had a sub. Their sub played extremely well. 34-19 and 19 from Redvin, subbing in for Frogburger for Frog.gif. But, I mean, insane game. I wish we had gotten to see all of it. Like, this seems like an incredible game between probably the two top teams from the registered teams right now.
Yeah, Doug just kind of like smurfed everyone on the top 8.
Yeah, I mean,
he
he just dropped
so well.
30 bomb after 30 bomb, basically, right? He manages to be match MVP here in this game against Frog.gif, getting, 7-1 in first kills, like first duels, is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the difference in them winning or losing this triple OT game, right? Against Frog.gif. Then against Mouse House, right? They go 13-10 on Ascent again. It seems like Ascent was kind of a comfort map for them. They played it a lot in this tournament. And Doge once again 30-15, 6-1 on the first duels. Let me pull up the last game against Minnie's Val team. I mean, dude, so Doge ends up going across these 3 games. He ends up going 17-3 in first duels.
That's crazy.
Like, that's actually insane. Like this guy just had the day of his life, right? Of Doge is a good player. Doge is a good player, but that's not normal.
Yeah, he, especially in our game, he just popped off. He couldn't shoot back, and our team just fell apart against them. It was not a good time.
Yeah, I mean, but congratulations to Tinfoil Rex. We'll wrap up this segment covering the registered team tournament. I have to think of like a smoother way to go through this. But I like covering all the games and being able to talk about them. But yeah, great job from Tinfoil Rex winning the first kickoff tournament, establishing themselves once again as a front runner in the tournament. And let's take a look at the current Underpeel points standings now after that tournament, and we'll give the update on the so originally I was planning on just doing Underpeel points as you win a map, you gain a point, and it's as simple as that. But as we were as I was doing that, I was like, this doesn't feel like it's rewarding teams that get deeper in the tournament enough. So we updated it basically to be, you get 1 point for every map win, and then you also get a point for every placement, right? So if you make top 8, you get an extra point. If you make top 4, you get a second extra point. If you're a grand finalist, you get a point. And if you win the whole thing, you get 1 point for winning the tournament. So Tinfoil Rex, obviously so with that format, if you win all your games in Swiss, if you go undefeated, the maximum amount of points you can win is 10 points. Tinfoil Rex have 10 points here because they've already secured a top 8 placement, right, in the Masters tournament. So they're up to 10 points, Underpeel points. And Minnie's Val team, the other team that secured a top 8 place, is at 8 points, followed by our top 4 placers, Fruit Ninja and Mouse House, followed by Frog.gif and Optimistic, who went 3-0 in Swiss. So they get that extra map win point along with the top 8 placement to get 4 points. Then Nibs and Knobs, Shaq, Kobe, and crew with 3 points each, rounding out the top 8. And Zoink Squad being the sole 2-win team who didn't get a top 8 placement. So any standouts here, Zahn or Dyer, about these Underpeel points going out of the first tournament?
I was expecting Frog's.gif to go higher in the tournament, so they only have 4 points. Is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be like it's gonna come down a lot of times to your matchup, right? If they lose a triple OT game, right, to the champions, right, so they go out top 8 instead of like if they get a different matchup potentially, they're top 4, they get another point, right? Get a map win point, but at the like you go against the champions on Doge's Michael Jordan run, like like you kind of go down, but like they have the chance, right? If you're consistently doing good, you can definitely catch back up to the kind of leaders in the point.
Yeah. Well, you gotta look forward to Masters at this point.
Looking forward to Masters, but before Masters, we're going to be going into our draft tournament, our draft teams kickoff event, and we are going to reveal the round 1 bracket of our Swiss stage. And we're going to be using a website called Challenge, or Challenge. Yeah, here it is on the screen. And you all can see this if you use the command up schedule. So !up schedule in the chat. We'll pull up a link to this, and you can follow this live as we're doing the Swiss stage tomorrow to get updated matchups and times for these games. But let's take a look at what are the matchups. So just a shout out, team Silly Little Oppers. You'll notice that you do not have an opponent in the first round, seeing as we have 17 teams. 17 out of the 18 draft teams were able to register and be present for this tournament. But Silly Little Oppers were the last one. They were silly little guys and didn't sign up. They were the last to sign up, so they get the bye round in the first round. But so our first matchups are Team Warble are going against Controlled Chaos. Have either of you scrimmed these teams? Any insights from the streets?
I haven't scrimmed either of these teams, so I don't have much info on them.
Same here.
No.
That I'm looking forward to face. However, I did not face them yet in scrims.
Yeah, Controlled Chaos, right, is the team with captained by Temptius and has the number 1 overall pick, Wetbread, who we saw play really well. Even though Evil Buffoon's not able to get any wins, Wetbread was a hard carry for them. So in this draft tournament, it's probably going to be looking to be one of the top performers. Yes, you have a bye round, Frame Data. That just means that you aren't playing in the first round, is all that means. So you don't start your day until 9 o'clock, basically, Frame Data. We scrimmed Warble? What is this? My co-host is giving me incorrect point. Yeah, but for our record.
Man. I have terrible memory, okay?
I'm not sure, Frame Data, how Challenge handles it, if that makes sense. I don't know if they... However we want. So, I'm hesitant to just give a win, for example, because it would feel bad if you all made... Like, if a team that had a bye got one of the 2 necessary wins based off of a bye. Because if we have a loss, we're kind of cooked. Yeah, I don't want to give a loss either. I kind of want it to just be 0-0, but I don't know if there's a way to actually do that. Were the seeds just random? Yeah, this is just random matchup. This is just randomly generated.
I have been re-informed.
We did like giving a loss.
We did face Warble.
The information on the streets are incorrect. It would put you over a team that is 1-2. I think probably how we'll handle it is we'll just have teams that have a bye act like they got a win for like matchmaking purposes. But if it comes down to a tiebreaker, a bye team loses the tiebreaker, if that makes sense. So like if it's between 2-1 teams and one of those teams has a bye and one doesn't, like the bye team has to bow out of top 8. But what about the points? I think for Underpeel points, it would just not count as because they didn't win a map, right? They just advance in the Swiss stage. But yeah, so MVT who are paying attention, what's the Scrimbucks on Warble? Because I know Controlled Chaos are
So
top team, like top draft pick.
I'm not going to give away their comp or strats. I will say they were very annoying to play against on Sunset.
Oh, okay, so a Sunset Scrim, and they were annoying. Interesting. If you get a bye, it's bad. I mean, like, it's not, you don't lose, you know? But, like, there's no perfect way to do it, right? I mean, I could just say you can't play. Like, is that any better? No, right? So, like, you know. Yeah, you get harder matchmaking plus insta-lose tiebreaker. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah. Buys are always worth less than a real win in Swiss. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, give point. But, Dasu, you didn't do anything. You just randomly got a buy. Like, why do you get a point for randomly getting a buy? You know? Anyways, we're moving on. So let's make a prediction here, you all. I'm just out of the blue. I think my guess is that I think Warble are going to be playing with a sub as well. So I'm going to pred Controlled Chaos. I think Wet Bread is going to be too much to handle for Warble in this first round matchup.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Wet Bread will be able to suss out if they do play Sunset, suss out what they're doing compared to full steam.
All right. Next up, we have 404 Aim Not Found versus One Tap Copium. Both of these teams I'm actually pretty familiar with. I just scrimmed with One Tap Copium, actually.
I really want 404 to win because I just want to see them do really well because I want to see them play just more. They're a team that I'm really looking forward to just watching, and I'm expecting them to perform pretty well throughout the season.
Team 404 or One Tap Copium?
404.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've watched them scrim a time or two. They have pretty good team chemistry already. I would say One Tap Copium, I'll leak from the streets. We crushed C10 because thanks to my hard carry and because of their new addition to the roster. They had someone have to step down, and they were able to sign the legend himself, Chad/Lynn. And as if you check the Streets channel, Chad was a Giga carry. I said guess the Street said guess the Radiant player. And Chad was popping off in our scrim today. So I kind of feel like I feel like this is a close match. This might actually be the match I want to watch on stream. Or even if it's not the match I watch on stream, it will be the one that Lydia will watch on the second observer cam.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be an exciting match to watch.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be biased because I scrimmed with him. I'll pred One Tap Copium. What about you two?
With the addition of Chad, the addition of Chad, it gets a little more up in the air for me, but I think I'm gonna lean towards 404.
Okay, 404.
I gotta support my fellow Cypher main in cold.
So two panelists for 404. Me on One Tap Copium. We'll see who's correct. Next up, Dyer, your team, Serpent Strikers versus Cosmic Rays. Dyer, pitch us. Why is Serpent Strikers going to beat Cosmic Rays?
Honestly, I haven't seen much about Cosmic Rays. Let me find the roster real quick. Okay, so they have Biscuit Overheated, Mecha Samurai, Aizen, and Mazarov. Now, the agents that I see in the image that I pulled up from the draft selection way back when, based on these roles, it seems like that their team comp might suffer a little bit. I don't know who plays initiator but I know they have some good shooters. Biscuit all throughout the draft combines was getting high stats. It's definitely so. I think if my team can deal with Biscuit, it should be an easy win.
Easy win. Ooh, some drama starting up here on the podcast already. Cap Bishop says, or one of your teammates is out here saying, you guys are gonna lose. What does Bishop talk? Let me at him. Oh, okay, never mind. I think Bishop's getting hyped up.
Yeah, Bishop wants to fight all of the strong players. Really
okay. Bishop's hyped up. Oh, okay. Once we get to that matchup, Lee, I'll listen to your scrim buck. Yeah, I would probably pred Serpent Strikers here as well, just knowing that Serpent Strikers are scrimming, and like I know that you, Dyer, are like wanting to approach the season like pretty seriously and like really hardcore going for it. And I believe that Cosmic Rays are much more of a pure vibes team. I think Mecha Samurai just kind of took 4 players that she like vibes with and like wants to play with. But I don't know. Like we saw Optimistic were kind of that team going into the registered tournament, and they went 3-0. So maybe Cosmic Rays will do the same thing.
But I think Serpent Strikers should have this match. I'm confident in my team. We should have this easy.
Yeah, we want to do predictions. I'm definitely voting for Serpent Strikers. I want y'all to win.
All right. Underpeel podcast guarantee. Lock it in. So Cosmic Rays definitely going 3-0 now. All right, next up are Cloud 10 and Battle Hunt Bozos in a first round matchup. Cloud 10, obviously the team with JG on it. And Battle Hunt Bozos is the one trick team.
So, I really want Battle Hunt Bozos to win, but I expect Cloud 10 to win.
I don't know, like Cloud 10 are definitely beatable. Seeing as how I demolished them in scrims earlier today. Want scrim bucks? What's the scrim bucks? Lydia.
I hope it's church code. Oh no.
Give us the lore.
Lydia Lugas try out there.
JG is the Radiant, right? Yes, JG is a former Radiant player. Not current Radiant, but former Radiant player. BHB is running only Clove, Gecko, Phoenix, Reyna, and Cypher.
They're so based for that.
Interesting. Every map. Yeah, they're the one trick team. So like they would be one tricking every map, right? So Clove, Gecko, Phoenix, Reyna, and Cypher is the comp. Their Lotus is kind of weak. Yeah, I imagine with that comp. I imagine they're gonna be probably pretty weak. Like they how do you break a Gecko trip?
Gecko trip.
Oh yeah. I mean there's no, they have no dive duelists either. Like I was about to say, like they might be able to do a little better on maps like Ascent, right? But then I'm like, how do they get out of the chokes? Like they're just gonna, like they basically have to. Though I have word from the streets that these two teams have scrimmed. These two teams have scrimmed each other, so this is gonna be kind of a scrim rematch. In fact,
I will say, for those who don't know, Gecko and Phoenix Mollies can both break the unbreakable trips on Sunset and Breeze. I don't know if people will actually use this information, but you can break it with those two Mollies on the unbreakable trips.
I doubt Battle Hunt Bozos is going to go towards Breeze, though.
They probably won't.
No, probably no Breeze, right? Probably no. They could do Icebox, I suppose.
Icebox is not bad because with the ropes, it allows for non-movement duels to still get good value. The Icebox could be a strong map for them.
So the streets are telling me, chat, that these two teams played 2 days ago on Split. And I won't reveal the final score or anything, but it wasn't close. So my guess is Split will not be played in this matchup.
I'd assume so.
So who are we pretting? I think Zahn, you said Cloud 10, right?
I expect Cloud10 to win, but I really want BHP to win.
I have to agree with Zahn there. Cloud 10 seem like a more well-rounded team. However, Battle Hunt Bozos looks like a really fun team to watch. So them making deep runs could be.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Them making a deep run would be fun. Honestly, I think BHP wins. I agree, Inturtus. I'm pretting BHP as well. I think BHP take this.
Whoever lost wanted the gig check. We were already predicting the rematch.
Yeah, Mix Dix is like Australian or something. Yeah, he's APAC. I think he's actually looking for someone to take his spot, and he'll be like a GM for the roster, basically. Probably because like it's just tough to play. I'm surprised they signed up, but we will see about that. Next up, we got You Raise Me Up, Battle Gnome and Teku's team versus Nuggets. Who do you all think's taking this matchup between You Raise Me Up and Nugget? Any scrimbucks about these two teams?
I personally have not faced them.
Haven't faced them yet.
I believe I faced Nugs. Hold on.
Okay. Give us the lore.
I need to confirm this. I think I might be mixing teams up.
We scrimmed them yesterday, Controlled Chaos Snow says. You Raise Me Up? Give us the lore, Snow. Were they looking good?
I am spreading misinformation. We have not scrimmed them.
Oh my god, this guy. It wasn't close. Ooh.
Oof.
Ooh. It wasn't close. So that means either You Raise Me Up are goated or Controlled Chaos are goated. We also had
either way,
people lag. Unlucky. All right, I think we learned that it might have been You Raise Me Up who were the ones. There's a lot of tech pause. Oh, that sucks. So I mean, I'm gonna go with my son Teku. So I'm betting You Raise Me Up here against Nuggets.
I'm also betting You Raise Me Up.
I will also be betting You Raise Me Up.
All right, Underpeel podcast guarantee You Raise Me Up. Going, winning it all. For sure. Obviously.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We are 100% oracles, and our word is never wrong.
These last three matchups are all contenders for me of ones I would want to watch. I don't know if I'm going to make a call until the day of, because like these matchups are really good. We have We'd win against Asayaki. I think this matchup is going to be one of those that could be a rematch in top 8. 100%.
Yeah.
I've watched... Go ahead, Dyer.
My team scrimmed Ayasaka and Lane and Darius at the front. And then they have E. Logan and Rafi supporting them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very strong team. It's very hard to go against them.
Did you all scrim on Split?
We scrimmed on Lotus.
Lotus, okay. I watched a Split VOD of theirs. I can't remember who they were scrimming. Oh, they were scrimming Kitten Shelter. And yeah, I was really impressed by Asayaki of like listening to their comms. Like they were good. They were really good, high quality comms. And they're a lower Pilo team, right? And so initially I was like, ooh, this team's might struggle. But like I think I've heard there's dissidence within the ranks of Asayaki. Oh no. The streets? The streets.
It's foreboding. Oh no.
I mean, from what I've heard is that what Darius gave me a quote is that Lane has to be told to lock in. The feud, Lane and the coach hate Darius. But Nolly'd Win is also a really strong team. I think I watched them scrim. I watched them scrim a Lotus match against 404, I believe. And they were, I'll just say, I hope someone takes them to the Lotus. Because they were running an interesting comp.
Yeah, Navi Win looks like a very strong team. I know they're going to have some subs tomorrow, so depending on who is like subbed in and like who's not there will like make or break whether this team.
I can reveal this of it's Yeds and their lower elo player Splatter are the two players who are going to be missing tomorrow, and their subs are Gracie is subbing in for Splatter and Just Tired is subbing in for Yeds.
Interesting.
So they have their kind of like who I would say are the core of the team. When I was listening to, I listened into Naweed Wins comms as well. And they also had really impressive comms of basically Lane, Lance, and Yeds all were great like mid-rounders and gave really great comms throughout the whole thing. So I think this game is close. I think I'm going to pred Asayaki because of the two subs on Naweed Win.
Yeah. I think
Yeah. If it wasn't for the two subs, I was expecting Navi Win to win, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Hatsuyaki.
Snow says Naweed Win forced role changes out of us.
Oh no.
I think if Naweed Win had their full roster, they would probably be my favorites, so maybe even take the ultimate. But with the subs out, you know, they're just not gonna have the same chemistry as like I've seen. So all right, next up are two teams I'm pretty excited about. I haven't had a chance to watch a ton of. I've watched a little bit of Elo Evader scrims, I haven't gotten an Abusement Park scrim yet. But Elo Evaders versus Abusement Park. Elo Evaders Frogs team. Streets are saying they have 3 or 4 coaches in their server coaching up every player. So they're on the improvement.
Wild.
4 coaches is crazy.
Abusement Park wins this, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean Abusement Park have a really like well-rounded team. Let me sneak into their server real quick so I can check it out. But yeah, Colt, Jace, Sin, they have a sub Sunny. Sunny is subbing in for CEO and Lucario. Like that's a really solid, well-rounded team. So yeah, I think Elo Evaders might be a dark horse later in the season once their coaches have gotten them all coached up all the way. They're able to get their systems in place. I think Abusement Park take this first matchup though.
Yeah. This is rough. I think Elo Evaders will win, but I think this will be a really close match.
Yeah, I think this will be close. I think this will be one of those, like how we were just going through and we saw like some OT, some 13-11s. I think this is like a 13-11 either way.
I was going to predict a 16-14 again.
A 16-14, okay. Sin says that he's going to remember the disrespect, so. All right, and our final matchup of the first round, Moderate versus Parasite. I think this is a very good matchup as well. I think this is another one that's going to be close. Mid win, stat boys up. I think I'm going with Parasite. I'm not gonna lie. I think Parasite are they're a slept on team. Think people aren't talking enough. The people aren't giving enough respect to Parasite.
I mean, they have Brad and Potato. Like, their team is pretty good. They have a solid core.
I mean, like, Brad is a great player, and Miggy, I think, has the most improved player from the combines. This dude, when I was doing prep for the draft and, like, doing if you remember, right, the draft order was by captain rank. So, Miggy originally was, like, the 6th pick in the draft or something, because he was, like, Plat 2. But then like a week or two later, like when it was finally draft day, The guy was like Ascendant 1. He ended up being like the last pick, like, or close to it. Because he had climbed all the way from like mid-plat to like he's now Ascendant. So like this team is like on the climb. I think they got one of the better like lower elo players out of the draft in Fikriz. And
Yeah.
I think their roles just make a lot of sense as well. So,
But I'm gonna throw that all out the window, and I have to cheer on Moderate. I have to cheer him on, man. Interior's team is goated.
We got Buzz. I mean, that's true. Miggy is Ascendant 2 now. Border, like what? Like what is this dude? I definitely haven't been playing more too. That's fine though, Potato, because you're a breach main. You don't have to shoot people. You just have to stun people. For Miggy and Brad to kill. You know. But Buzz is the most like high Pilo value player for sure. But
yeah,
I mean, Moderate have a good team too. I think these last three, not gonna lie, if I'm thinking about who are the top 8 teams gonna be, I low key kind of think like all 6 of these last 3 matchups are making it to top 8. Like I think we're gonna have a similar situation to what we did in the registered teams, where 3 of the 4 like matchups in top 8 are rematches, and I think these might be the rematches right here that we're looking at already.
Yeah. I expect a rematch of one of these 3 teams in the top 8.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think my guess would be that if I'm thinking about, so I would guess, like if we're thinking, I would say that probably, I think even though Silly Little Oppers are going to be at a disadvantage with having the bye, I think they're a strong enough team, even with a sub, to win the next 2, to like pretty clearly get into top 8 as well.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap up here. Wait, who do you all see winning the draft team kickoff?
I want Team 404 to win.
Well, they can't because they would be giving up their spot in top 8 if they make it. Because Team Captain Gold has already announced that he doesn't want his team to play if they're not all there. So even if 404 make it to top 8, they would forfeit their spot, and the next team would get it.
That's
so
crazy.
They literally. So Zahn, you might have to get banned from the podcast because your winner's pick literally can't happen.
That's crazy. Fine then. My pick is Moderate, just because I love Interior's team.
That's a solid pick. Who do you see Moderate beating in the grand final?
If I had to guess, it'd probably either be Parasite again or Navi win.
Okay, so Moderate taking down either Parasite or Naweed win. Okay, Dyer, who do you have winning and also making the grand finals out of the
grand finals? I definitely think my team can make it deep run. Hopefully, we make it to the grand finals. I'm very confident in all of our abilities.
So kind of like like you subbing in for MVT, right? Like you made grand finals and registered. So you think you Serpent Strikers probably are that MVT team in draft kickoff? Okay.
I think we can. I'll make it back to the grand finals. It's done with my team.
All right.
And then beat MVT at Masters 1.
Ooh, I like that. Who do you see making the grand finals with Serpent Strikers and securing that top 8 placement?
Honestly,
in Masters.
Any of the last 6 teams could easily make it there, and as well as the Little Rockers. They're all super strong. Some of them we met in scrims, and I won't lie, they got the best of us in scrims. But I think that my team, with a little bit of work before the games tomorrow, we can win over them.
Win over
They were mostly shooters. All of the teams. All of the
teams. Okay.
Most of them, they felt like shooters, but I never felt stuck
macro.
Strat wise.
I got you.
I always can come up with something, but they're definitely shooters that my team's gonna have to overcome.
All right. Okay.
I say we'd win if they get their entire roster on Saturday. Could easily get into the finals.
Damn. Okay. So we got Serpent Strikers and Nawi Win from Dire advancing to Underpeel Masters top 8. And Zon's Predding Moderate, and I think you said Parasite or Nawi Win. So we'll say Parasite to be different from my guess. I believe that the top 2 teams, I'm gonna pred actually that I think Asayaki are gonna have like a tinfoil Rex style run where like they're one of the lower Pilo teams and they end up winning the tournament kind of unexpectedly. So my pred would probably be Asayaki. I think are gonna win, and I think they're going to be beating. We'll say Abusement Park finals. I think those will be the 2 teams that advance to Masters, is Asayaki and Abusement Park.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, there's so many teams in here that I can just see just winning it all. It's really
I
hard
think
to decide.
I think the draft team, like, with the register teams, there were some clear, like, okay, these teams are going to be strong. Like, all the returning teams were going to be good. They had an advantage, right? And Minnie's Val team, like, right, we're like clear, like, kind of standout teams of like, we know they're going to be good going into this. The draft team tournament, the kickoff, I think is wide open. Like, I could see so many teams doing well.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
I kind of, is one of those moments where I really wish we could have like multiple streams so I can watch multiple games at once, because there's so many games there. Like, I want to watch like 4 of these games.
Once we have the million viewerships on, we can have multiple streams.
True. We just need to simply get 1 million viewers.
Exactly. Easy peasy. Get the million. Alrighty. Well, that's gonna be the podcast episode for tonight. We went over the results of the registered kickoff tournament, and we previewed the draft team tournament.
Yeah. I'm really excited to watch these matches tomorrow. It's definitely going to be some slobber knockers of games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy that, like, I think you all can tell me, both of you played in it, and people in chat can tell me, how did the Swiss format, the 2-day, like the full tournament happening in one weekend, how was that? Was it poggers or not poggers? No, poggers.
I thought it was fun.
Good.
Yeah,
it seemed good. As a viewer and as a player, from both perspectives, I got to see a little bit.
Nice.
It seemed good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like pretty hype. I mean, I thought like it was cool having like an entire storyline play out over 2 days, right? And just being able to see the progression so quickly. And we're just gonna keep getting that over and over again in this season. Yo, thank you, Valadeus, for the tier 1 subscription on Twitch. Shout out Valadeus. He thinks he's getting stonewalled from the Underpeel. Isn't that true? Valadeus is a OG Underpeeler. Got a permanent spot in the Underpeel. I like the format because every game matters a lot. Yeah, I think it was cool. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. We'll close out here. We will see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST start time for round 1 of Swiss stage for the draft teams. As we were talking about here, it's anyone's tournament. I think there's going to be a couple of surprises along the way, and we're going to get into it and see it all happen live tomorrow. So don't miss it.
Good luck to everyone playing in the matches tomorrow, and those are definitely going to be some really fun matches to watch.
All right. Appreciate you all. Have a good night. Peace.